welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica, and today I have a video that was actually requested by a viewer. I can't remember right off the top of my head who requested this, and actually she only requested one portion of this video. I decided to do this as a collab with Amanda because we have very different panning styles, so I thought it would be kind of interesting to show her pros and cons versus my pros and cons to see if we have any similarities in them. We did not discuss this at all, except for the fact that we were going to be doing a collab of pros and cons of project panning. Also, along that line is, what was requested of me is the pros and cons of doing multiple project pans at the same time. And I will touch on that as well, because there are pros and there are cons to just about everything in the world. So I have a couple of bullet points, but for the most part, this is going to be off the cuff because, you know, what comes out of my mouth, you will know that it is truly what I am thinking and how I feel about panning. All right. The first thing I want to say about project panning for a pro is that you really learn what you like and don't like as far as colors and formulations and products, what is useful for you, what isn't. Brands, you'll learn if you like a certain brand or not, and that is a really good thing. It helps narrow down, you know, what you like, what's good for your skin, whatever. The problem or the con with finding that out is you may have a ton of products in your collection that really aren't optimal for your skin type, your likes and dislikes, stuff like that. And if you're a true panner and you want to use up everything in your collection, you have to work through those products as well. So there is the pro and the con of that. And yeah, there are some things that I am working on right now that are not my favorite. When I purchased them, I thought they were really amazing. And then when I started actually using them, I realized that they really weren't for me. They weren't for me. All right. One of the pros that I have found through project panning is that I can franken most of my products to make them work for me. So even if I have a product that doesn't necessarily work for me color-wise, like the formulation is fine or whatever, but the color isn't necessarily like what I prefer, I have so much stuff in my collection that I can probably franken it with something else to create a color that I actually like, or a color that suits my skin tone. So that is definitely a pro, and I franken the heck out of a lot of stuff. I do. All right. One of the pros of project panning, for me anyway, I don't know if it is for other people, is it's almost like you get this high feeling when you finish something. It's euphoric when you see, like when you first hit pan on something or when you completely use up a product. For me anyway, it feels so good, like I've gotten my money's worth out of it. I used it for all it was worth, and I got goosebumps just thinking about it. I love to finish products. Empties make me happy. It's not just a hashtag on Instagram. Empties really do make me happy. I get a thrill out of looking at my empties bin every single month. And I love sharing that with you guys because, you know, as a panner, that's what we do. And I don't know, it's like it's almost like a drug. Empties are like a drug. I don't know how to explain it, but that is something that panning gives to me, and I love it. This is a pro and a con, I guess. Multitasking products. That is a good thing about project panning. If you have certain products in projects and your goal is to finish that product, you can multitask it. Like I have eyeshadows on my lips once again, and I actually have eyeshadows as a blush topper. I have eyeshadows in my eyebrows. That is definitely a pro, that you can use those products in multiple ways and make them work for you. The con is that if you don't have a lot of speak Jessica, if you don't have a lot of products in your projects and you're trying to stick just with those products, you have less selection. So you end up using if it's something that you don't like, you use it more, even though you don't like it, because you're trying to get rid of it. So like I have on today on my eyes, it's a blue purple eyeshadow. It is not my favorite. I love purples, but I don't love blues. We all know I don't love blues. And this purple leans way more towards blue. It is not my favorite, but I need to get it used up by a certain time. And I find myself needing to use it more frequently because it has a deadline on it. So that is definitely a con. I probably would not be wearing purple today if it wasn't for needing to get that particular eyeshadow done in a short time frame. So that is a pro and a con with the multitasking. So I think I have it on my eyes today. I have it mixed in my lips. I have several different eyeshadows mixed on my lips today with a gloss. And yeah, so the multitasking is a pro and a con when it comes to panning. One of the big pros for me for project panning is the creativity of it. I have tried so many different things that I don't think I would have tried if it wasn't for project panning. Like the makeup mix-up that I do with Amanda and Janine, that wouldn't happen if it wasn't for project panning. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link the makeup mix-up up here of the last one that we did. And really, it is all about using your makeup not in the way it was intended. I would never have thought to do that if it wasn't for project panning. And I have found certain eyeshadows that I love as a blush or eyeshadows that I love as a highlighter, and I would never have thought to even put an eyeshadow anywhere other than like my eyelids until project panning. So the creativity factor to me is a major, major pro. All right, let's see. Another pro with project panning is, for me, again, this is about my collection, is being able to reduce my collection and shop my stash and show it some love without feeling like I need to go buy more and more and more. I really feel like with the size of my collection that when I am project panning on a regular basis and I don't touch my other products, when I am able to start a new project and go into those products, I feel like I'm working with new products because I haven't seen them in a long time. So to me, that is a very good thing. But on the same side, or on the opposite side, there is the con that you don't get to touch your other makeup as much. So again, pros and cons to everything. If you're truly focused on your panning products, then the rest of your collection isn't going to get any attention. So it's kind of a give and take with that as well. One of the pros for me for panning is, and there is no con to this as far as I'm concerned, is that panning and using up products gives me more space back in my house, in my bathroom, in my vanity, in my cupboards, in my linen closet. As I use up those products, they're gone. I'm not replacing them right now unless I run out completely. And that to me is a huge pro, because I am trying to minimize stuff, not be a minimalist, but to minimize the sheer amount of stuff that I own, and panning definitely helps with that. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Oh, this is a huge pro. This is a huge pro for me. Does not apply to everyone. I have anxiety. I've talked about having anxiety before. And much like everything else, it ebbs and flows. I have times when I'm very anxious and other times when I'm not that anxious at all. But part of the reason that I purchased so much and the reason that my collection is so big is because of my anxiety. I purchased things when I was anxious, and I was thinking that purchasing things would ease that anxiety and make me feel better, kind of like retail therapy. Only the problem with that was when I would sit down, when I wasn't feeling anxious anymore and I wasn't buying anymore, I would sit down and look at all of the stuff that I owned, and it would make me anxious to have so much stuff around me. I was feeling claustrophobic and anxious with the sheer amount of stuff that I owned. And panning is working towards getting rid of that much stuff, through usage. And the more I pan and the more I finish things up and get them out of my collection and get them out of my life, the better it makes my anxiety feel. And I know that doesn't apply to everyone because not everyone has anxiety and not everyone is triggered by stuff like this. But for me personally, that is a huge pro to Project Pan and get rid of these things that are causing me anxiety, that was caused by anxiety. It was kind of like this vicious cycle with my anxiety with buying stuff and then seeing everything. It was a hot mess, and the no-buy and the panning is really my therapy working towards taking care of that. My mental health needs me to pan. All right, let's see, what else do we have? I think I kind of already touched this one. The fact that you get your money's worth out of products and they don't go to waste. That is always a pro to me when you don't waste product. I know some people just like to declutter. That's not my style. So I like to use it up, and that's what I do. On the con side, like I said before, you get products that you won't get to touch for a while. If you aren't on a no-buy and you purchase a new palette, but you stay strict to your rules and you only work on your painting products, that's a tongue twister, then your new palette that you just bought doesn't get used, other than maybe a swatch or, initial kind of review of the product. And so that's definitely a con. If you like to get new makeup all the time, that could be a con for you. This is more on the side of the pros and cons of doing a lot of projects, as was requested. One of the pros for me with doing so many projects is I don't get as bored. And what I mean by that is if I was only doing 1 or 2 projects, like a Pan That palette and then say a 19 in 2019, even if it was all makeup with the palettes and 19 makeup products, and I was solely working on those products, I would get bored. I would get bored. I absolutely would get bored. I couldn't do my makeup basket because I couldn't rotate anything. So for me, doing a lot of projects is my sanity to keep me from being bored. I can feasibly, and you guys, anyone that has watched my my makeup basket videos will see, I can change out my eyeshadows, and if I wanted to not use certain eyeshadows for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks and still be able to create completely different looks because I have so much to choose from. I might have 30 or 40 eyeshadows right now to choose from in different projects. And that to me is pretty cool because eyeshadow is my crack. I like to mix up my eyeshadows. There are certain ones that I use every single day, like what I use to set my primer, my transition shades. Usually I have a warm and a cool, and there are just certain eyeshadows that I will use every single day. But as far as the colors, I can mix those up completely because I have so many in projects that I won't get bored. And that to me is a good thing. Now, if you don't do a lot of projects and you only want to use your panning products, then you're likely to get bored. If you're that type of person that gets bored easily and, you aren't okay with using the same blush every single day, 365 days a year. Blushes, to me, I could probably do that as long as it was a neutral blush, but eyeshadows, lip colors, I probably couldn't do it, but blush, I couldn't care less. But, you get what I'm saying with that one. Now, the con of doing multiple products or multiple projects with a lot of product is you either don't finish everything that you put in a project, and I truly intend to finish things that I put in a project. Some people don't. Very rarely will you hear me say, I only want to hit pan on this, or I just want to use part of it, unless that is what the project is about, like Go for the Gold. I want to finish everything that I put in a project for the most part. When you do a lot of projects, it is harder to do that. It is a lot harder to do that because you're spreading your focus a lot wider. So I have to make sure that if I want to show progress on my products, each month that I do an update, I have to rotate through them. So if I've got 5 blushes in projects, I need to, you know, every basket put a different blush in, like every weekly basket, so that they all get used. Now, what's going to happen with that is the progress, the visible progress, is going to be a lot slower in the updates. And some people like to see fast progress, and if you have multiples or duplicates of a product, it's going to be a lot harder to do that. So, and it's also harder to finish them completely. What's going to happen is, like what happened to me last year, is I spread things out. I was not hitting my use-up goal each month, but towards the end of the year, it was like I had these big piles of empties because things started getting finished at the same time. So it is definitely a pro and a con with panning. You really just have to choose for yourself what works for you, for your panning style. I will probably always do a lot of projects, not like a lot, but I will always do multiple projects because I like the variety. I couldn't do just 1 or 2, but that's just not who I am. But it is not for everyone. It is definitely not for everyone. And one of the cons that I will say, it's kind of a pro because it makes me laugh, but a con is I constantly get comments, and I know Amanda does too, and a few other people constantly get comments. How did you use up so much? How did you eat your makeup? I mean, have you been snacking on your eyeshadows? And it's funny in a way, but in other ways it's frustrating as a panner because, you know, I work hard to focus on my products, and it shows, but other people don't understand it if they're not as focused and as driven. So I guess it's confusing to people how it can be done, but it's focus. It is truly focused. So, but as a panner like myself, and I know Amanda has commented to me about it before, it is kind of frustrating because people, they think that you're cheating on your projects, if you will, that, you know, we're doing something sinister like eating our makeup or whatever, but it's just consistent use. So that is a con for me, but I do get a chuckle out of it unless it's said in a malicious way, which has happened. But yeah, I could do without that, but, you know, if it's my friends or people that are regulars that watch me and interact with me, I don't really mind it so much, but I have had some people be pretty nasty about that kind of stuff, and that is definitely a con. All right, I am going to wrap this up because it is already a much longer video than I wanted to make, but I hope I answered your questions about the pros and the cons. If not, put them in the comments. I would be happy to respond to them. I'm a little behind right now, but I swear as my kids are starting to hopefully get a little bit better, I will be getting back to getting the comments done on a more consistent basis. So go check out Amanda's video. I'm going to have her listed down below, and I'm going to have her beautiful face at the end of the video. So go click on her nose, check her out, and show her some love. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until I see you on my next video, have a beautiful day.